some tough moments on the campaign trail tonight for Republican vice presidential nominee Mike Pence. What authorities say happened when his plane landed in New York.
Investigators in Laurel County uncover one of the county's largest meth busts and get some help from a new canine unit.
What police say you can do to protect your children when they go trick-or-treating on Halloween night.
This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening. It felt more like fall today as some cooler air moved into the bluegrass.
But temperatures will be warming up again just in time for the weekend. We begin tonight with WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and your no-wait weather forecast.
Yeah, a little on the cool side out there this evening for a change. We're dropping it into the normal mid and upper 40s for this late evening at the end of October. Still, though, look at southeastern Kentucky. It's been like pulling teeth to get that cool air all the way into the mountains. Little fog is possible later tonight for the trip into work and school tomorrow morning. Visibility is around daybreak, maybe close to a mile in a few spots. You get near the waterways, those creeks, streams, the lakes. We'll see the fog quickly lifting, though, by the middle of the day. High pressure on top of the Ohio Valley. That's the one and done blast of chilly air. Back to the west of us, we've got warm stuff already into the Plain States, and it is rolling its way toward the northeast. That'll be into the Bluegrass State as we set up shop for your Halloween weekend, and that will likely carry us into the first several days of November. So when I come back in a few minutes, Halloween, well, it's going to dress up as Labor Day. The forecast is warm at 11:13. We'll see you then.
Chris, thank you. Some frightening moments tonight for Republican vice presidential nominee Mike Pence and some people flying with him. Their plane had a rough landing in New York City.
Authorities say the plane skidded off the runway at LaGuardia Airport, and now they're trying to figure out why it happened. Kenneth Craig has the latest from New York City. It's our top story at 11.
A 737 charter plane carrying Donald Trump's running mate came to rest in the grass at New York's LaGuardia Airport. The Port Authority says the plane overshot the runway.
Governor Pence and everyone on board the plane is fine, thankfully.
Passengers say it was a rough landing. Governor Pence told the press corps on board that mud splashed onto the front windows of the plane. CBS digital journalist Alan He was traveling with the governor.
He came down to the back of the plane to check on us when it first happened, and everyone's all right.
It has been raining here at LaGuardia Airport all evening, and investigators are looking into whether these conditions played a role in the rough landing.
We're going to be seeing if there were any PIREPs, which means pilot reports indicating that they had turbulence or unusual conditions as they approached the runway.
Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump called Pence from a stop in Ohio.
I just spoke to our future vice president, and he's okay. Do you know he was in a big accident with a plane?
The governor tweeted his gratitude to first responders, saying, "So thankful everyone on our plane is safe." Pence is resting at his hotel and will be back on the campaign trail Friday. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton tweeted tonight that she was glad to hear that Pence and the rest of his passengers were safe. On the campaign trail today, Donald Trump accusing Bill and Hillary Clinton of using their charity to cash in personally. WikiLeaks released a confidential memo it claims came from a former aide to President Clinton, asking Clinton Foundation donors to offer him paid speeches. But the Clinton campaign said the couple's income is clearly outlined in tax returns they released. Hillary Clinton campaigned with First Lady Michelle Obama today and urged her supporters to build on President Obama's legacy.
I think we've had enough of the Clintons, in all fairness.
I, for one, and I hope all of you, do not want that hard work by our president and our first lady and millions of Americans to be wiped away.
While Clinton has the lead in most national polls, a new one from Fox News shows Trump narrowing the gap.
Investigators call it one of the largest meth busts ever in Laurel County. Sheriff's deputies tell us they found more than 2 pounds of meth at a home near London. Tonight, 3 people face charges in connection to the case, and deputies say they also found some other things besides drugs in that home. WKYT's Garrett Weimer is tracking the investigation tonight.
Investigators say they spent hours at this home on Greasy's Road, uncovering 2 pounds of meth and $16,000 in cash, as well as pills, marijuana, and several guns.
We have solved a lot of crimes and prevented a lot of crimes in the future by what we did here today.
They arrested Rick Bowling and Michelle Savage, charging them with trafficking meth and marijuana, as well as gun charges. Kenny Jones was charged with possession of drug paraphernalia and public intoxication. When I went by the house later, a man at the home who says he owns the place wasn't happy to see me.
I'm sorry to tell y'all, y'all don't need to set up. Y'all set up and call my lawyer filing charges.
Okay, do you have anything you want to say on camera?
No. Get the hell Get out.
Investigators say they also put to work their new K-9, who helped uncover some of the stash at the home there. We first introduced you to Edge on Monday. Deputies say a big haul like this shows why having him is so good, not just for their department, but for everyone.
For us to have 2 pounds is just a huge amount. We have taken a lot of crystal meth out of circulation in Laurel County that would have destroyed a lot of lives, and we've taken it off the street today.
In Laurel County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
While they were at the house, police arrested a next-door neighbor who had an outstanding warrant. They also arrested 2 other men with outstanding warrants who showed up at the house while investigators were there.
New tonight, a Woodford County jury has convicted a man charged in his brother's death. Our news partners at the Herald Leader report that Vernon Saunders was found guilty of second-degree manslaughter, evidence tampering, and abuse of a corpse. Police say back in 2014, Saunders killed his brother, Tim, then tied his body to the back of a truck and dragged him down a road. Saunders claimed he thought his brother was an intruder. He'll be sentenced next month. The jury recommended 15 years in prison.
Lexington police and firefighters will be back at the Kentucky River this weekend to look for more human remains. The Valley View Ferry will be closed Saturday because of the search. Investigators say they found human remains in the water near the ferry both last weekend and yesterday. So far, investigators have not been able to identify the remains. The Fayette County coroner says investigators likely won't find DNA on the remains because they've been in the river for so long. People who live near there say they hope investigators find answers soon.
It's deeply disturbing, you know. It's a real tragedy when anyone passes away. You know, I'm glad they do find the remains, and I hope they find the family and identify the victim.
The coroner says once investigators believe they have all of the remains, they'll drive them to the forensic lab at the University of Tennessee to try and make identification. A committee formed by Democrats to investigate Republican Governor Matt Bevin will meet tomorrow, but 2 state transportation cabinet employees invited to testify won't be there. Attorneys for the Bevin administration sent committee chair State Representative Jim Wayne a letter refusing to make those employees available. House Speaker Greg Stumbo appointed the commission. Its members are investigating if the governor delayed a road project in Jessamine County as a political vendetta.
With Halloween now just 4 days away, police across the Bluegrass want to make sure that your children stay safe while trick-or-treating. And they say there are some precautions parents need to take before their children head out the front door. WKYT's Monique Blair explains new at 11.
It's Halloween. It's a holiday for children to go out and get candy from random strangers.
Ghosts, skeletons, witches, there are plenty of things meant to scare you on Halloween, but most people don't want to be scared when it comes to their children's safety. Several states across the nation have laws in place that protect your children from certain strangers on Halloween night. Those states, including Indiana and Ohio, prohibit sex offenders from taking part in Halloween activities, but Kentucky does not have that law.
It's kind of uncomfortable, only just because, you know, some sex offenders are child sex offenders, and, you know, you don't even know who they are really, and you don't know if they're targeting your child or not.
There is a Kentucky Sex Offender Registry website that helps, though. We put in WKYT's address and searched a 5-mile radius. 140 offenders popped up. We were able to see a picture of each sex offender and the crime they committed.
We've never had any issues with people who are on the sex offender registry and our trick-or-treaters that we're aware of.
Now, although Lexington police say they don't see a problem with sex offenders preying on children on Halloween night, they say there are some tips that you and your children can follow. For starters, only trick or treat at houses that have their outside lights on versus a house that doesn't have its lights on. Police say one of the biggest issues they deal with on Halloween is kids running across the streets.
So I would say this, know where your kids are at all times.
In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
And you can find a link to the Kentucky Sex Offender Registry website at WKYT.com.
Confrontation today between police and hundreds of people protesting a controversial pipeline in North Dakota. The latest in 9 minutes.
And then a small northern Kentucky community in shock tonight. What police say a church treasurer stole from the congregation.
Your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
A little bubble of some cooler air. Otherwise, that island of cool is surrounded by a sea of warmth, and that warm air is going to surge back in here for the upcoming Halloween weekend. Here's the overall setup. Let's get you caught up on exactly what's going on to our west, because what you're seeing now into the Dakotas, where it hit the 80s, into Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, that's going to be in here as we go into the weekend and early next week. So that weekend warm surge is coming our way. Right now, it's just a little bit of seasonal air that you would expect this time of year. So a little chill is in the air, but it's late October. We should have a chill in the air every night. Upper 40s into much of the bluegrass region. 45, Danville, cold spot across the entire area. Harlan, can't get cold air into your area. 63 degrees still, while your neighbors to the west are shivering a little bit with some 40s. So again, upper 40s, 45 here at the station, by the way. Heading through the day tomorrow, temperatures will recover into the 65 to 70 degree range. Southern, southeastern Kentucky, you'll likely hit 70. Tomorrow evening, we look pretty good. Partly cloudy skies and 50s. Not a whole lot showing up, just a little cloud cover right now into parts of northeastern Kentucky on your Defender Radar Network. Let's go through your Friday night. High school football fans, as hard as it is to believe, the season is winding down. Playoffs are just around the corner, and your weather has been pretty good so far this year. Tomorrow night, maybe as good as it gets. 60-ish at kickoff, mid-50s as we go toward the end of those games. Hot off the presses, it's a brand new hour-by-hour forecast. Early Friday morning, watch out for a touch of fog. A few pockets of upper 30s, most of us, though, low 40s to begin the day. Noontime, mid to upper 50s north, 60 plus, 64 and south. Into the afternoon, those numbers are going to take off. 65 to 70. Don't be surprised if we aren't 70 to 75 across southern Kentucky. That's that warm front lifting its way on into town. Let's go through Friday night and into our Saturday. 50s to start the day, 70s already by your lunchtime hour, 75 to 80 Saturday afternoon, maybe a low 80 across southern Kentucky. Winds are going to be gusty from the southwest. Let's go through Saturday night. Can we find any change into Sunday? No. 60-ish to begin the day. If anything, it may be a degree warmer by the time the afternoon rolls around. Notice a little green, though, into parts of Indiana and Ohio, just off the edge. That's a weak cold front. Models have waffled just a little bit. Some of those try to get it into northern Kentucky. Others keep it to our north. Farther north that it stays, the warmer it is going to be. Did someone say warm? Yeah, our little guy is dancing. 78 to low 80s for your Halloween afternoon. Trick-or-treaters starting things out in the 70s, and we'll drop it into the mid and upper 60s as we're dragging those bags of candy through the neighborhood. So the mummy likes those dance moves, so you can't keep them under wraps. Oh, bad joke, I get it. 7-day forecast, guys. When I've got 75 to 80 every day, I've got to do something to make it sound a little interesting. Otherwise, it's straight out of Labor Day right now with that forecast.
Did you see the two of us over here dancing?
I did.
We're practicing that.
Yeah, we're getting ready. You know?
Listen, I'm going to drag you guys out there and dance with the mummy Monday night.
If Jim Caldwell can do that,
Watch out.
we can do better.
He was the model for it.
Some people in eastern Kentucky are not happy with how some repairs to a busy road turned out. Why county leaders are concerned in 8 minutes. New tonight, police have evicted hundreds of people protesting an oil pipeline being built in North Dakota.
Police fired beanbags and pepper spray to force the protesters to leave. No serious injuries were reported, but more than a dozen people were arrested, including a woman police say fired shots at them. The protesters had been camping on land owned by an energy company that's in the path of the Dakota Access oil pipeline. The pipeline's route skirts a nearby reservation. Native Americans who live there worry the pipeline will endanger their water supplies and disturb cultural sites.
The treasurer of a northern Kentucky church is being accused of stealing more than $50,000 from it. State police charged 59-year-old Dorothy Barth with theft by unlawful taking. They arrested her yesterday. Police say Barth was the treasurer for Trinity United Methodist Church in Augusta. They say she stole the money between September of 2015 and June of this year. Church members we talked to say they're in shock.
I'm appalled. If this is true, how somebody could do something like this to a small church in a small community, because they function on very small amounts of people, and it's sad. It's very sad.
Church leaders didn't want to talk to us about the case.
We have some new information tonight about a murder investigation in southern Kentucky. The case against the suspect, Daniel Blair, has been sent to the Cumberland County grand jury. Police say he shot 38-year-old Michael Taylor to death earlier this month in Burkesville. During a hearing, police testified that Blair admitted killing Taylor and hiding the gun in an abandoned trailer. A strange story out of Texas tonight. Police in Bryan say a woman crashed her car into a police cruiser while taking topless pictures for her boyfriend. Police say they were investigating a disturbance when 19-year-old Miranda Rader's SUV hit the back of the cruiser. An officer says when he walked up to the SUV, Rader was trying to put her shirt back on. Police say she told them she was trying to take a Snapchat photo to send to her boyfriend while parked at a red light. They say they found an open bottle of wine in her SUV and she failed sobriety tests. Police have charged her with DUI. Some people in Harlan County are not happy with some repairs made to a busy road there. For more than a mile of Highway 72 near Harlan, there's a strip of blacktop covering the middle of the road. But county leaders say it's slightly raised from the sides of the road, and they're worried that could put some people in danger.
It's uneven, and it can cause, in my opinion, trouble for vehicles, particularly motorcyclists.
The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says the road had potholes up to 5 inches deep and needed immediate repairs. They say the project will be inspected to make sure the road is now safe.
Hundreds of people helped raise money for the Hope Center in Lexington tonight. The annual Ball Holmes Night of Hope was held at the Lexington Opera House. Actress Meredith Baxter of the hit 1980 sitcom Family Ties was the featured speaker. Baxter shared her struggle with alcoholism and getting sober. Hope Center leaders say this is their largest fundraiser of the year.
It not only helps with the financial part of the mission of the nonprofit, but it also, you can hear the message of the nonprofit, and you can hear what the Hope Center is doing. You can learn about our programs.
Hope Center leaders say the money raised tonight will help programs for homelessness, addiction, and mental illness. I was there for that event tonight. Meredith Baxter had a really special story to share with everyone there tonight.
So much good comes out of the Hope
glad
Center.
she could make it to Lexington.
Just ahead, the first exhibition game coming up for Cal's Cats. Rob?
It is Sunday in Rupp. What does this team hope to do this season that it did not do last season? And can we expect any more trick plays or new wrinkles as the Cats head out to Missouri this weekend? That's next on WKYT. The Wildcats have the first of two exhibitions Sunday night as Clarion comes into Rupp Arena. John Calipari said today that he expects both Isaac Humphreys and Ty Wynyard to play. Both missed last week's blue-white game. Cal is looking for his team to come out and play hard the entire 40 minutes and limit breakdowns.
Just like breakdowns, I think being like complacent, I feel like that's just been kind of a thing every year where like we feel like we'll get a lead or something, we get comfortable, and then the team, catches back up to us, and then it's like we're in a dogfight. So if we can just learn to just bury people when we have them down, then I think that'll be really good for us.
So it is Clarion Sunday night in Rupp. Game will tip at 7 o'clock. You can see it on the SEC network. Today, Cal touched on the subject of renovating the Joe Kraft Center, the Cats practice facility. It's now 10 years old. Kentucky just announced plans for a new baseball stadium, and other facilities, including football, have been updated.
You know, when someone, like you're doing something for a coach, you're not. You're doing it for the kids and the program, for the kids that are coming later. And I think the best thing Mitch has done here is he's invested in these kids. It's the best thing he's done. And he's done it, not only on how we support them, but their facilities they need to compete at the highest level. You give them what they need to compete.
Morehead State has several key pieces to replace on this year's team, which went to the finals of the CBI tournament. Sean Woods was a guard at the University of Kentucky, and he expects a lot from his front court. With some question marks in the post, Woods may be asking his guards to rebound more as he looks for some stability in the post.
You know, that's been the thing about our team is, you know, we beat people to offensive rebounds. We treat offensive rebounds just like we do regular, defensive rebounds. So that's one question that I have. Is it a big question? No, because I think our guard play is probably the best in the league. But you still need some people down there to go get that ball and create some type of presence down there.
Georgetown at home tonight against IU Southeast. Chris Briggs matching wits with Wiley Brown. Second half, the Tigers' Quan Poindexter backs his way in and then shoots the fall-away jumper. He had 18. Highlight from the Grenadiers in transition. Joe Jackson stepping out and stepping up with a big slam, 2 of his 16. Georgetown's Trent Gilbert in the corner, fakes the three, misses the three, gets the rebound, then hits the floater. Gilbert with 11 tonight. Georgetown wins it 78-63. On to football. Kentucky heads to Missouri this weekend looking for its 3rd straight win. Tigers will be trying to snap a 3-game losing skid. The Cats pulled out a trick play right at the start of the 3rd quarter last weekend. They lined up in the Wildcat and then ran a flea flicker, with Steven Johnson hitting Jeff Badette for a touchdown. The Cats could have some more tricks up their sleeve.
Again, we've been practicing a lot of those different wrinkles here and there, and some games it's time to use them, and that game we felt it was time to use them. So, and again, we'll see how the Missouri games goes. We have some more tricks up our sleeves. It may be a situation where we use them. It may not be. It just depends on how the game's going. Benny likes running the ball right up the middle and scoring touchdowns. So, I mean, they like it when we go execute, whether they're trick plays or whether they're just regular plays. So, yeah, we got to continue to be dynamic with our offense, but we also got to be smart on what we call.
And both the Cubs and the Indians working out today in Wrigley Field, where the World Series will resume tomorrow night with Game 3. Word that the Cubs' Kyle Schwarber has not been medically cleared to play the outfield, so he will only pinch hit during the next 3 games. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night in Chicago. We'll be right back.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is less than 1 minute away here on WKYT, and tonight's guests include Mary Louise Parker.
It is almost Friday, and it looks like it's going to be a really pretty Friday.
Yeah, we get out of here on time on a Thursday night for the first time in a while, huh? Forecast the next few days. Guys, tomorrow's chilly into the morning, really good in the afternoon. We'll push 70, we'll push 80 Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's a warm period ahead.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night.